Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. Today, we are jumping into a real mix. AI is just dominating the headlines, but not always in a good way. We've got models failing safety tests being used for hacking.
But then on the flip side, revolutionizing research.
Exactly. And then there's struggling hardware startups, plus some huge updates on mobile tech and even how your phone connects to your car. It's
A lot.
It really is.
And you can see this tension everywhere. You've got these incredible breakthroughs. I mean, a phone with a real 2-day battery life, these amazing deep research tools.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you have these fundamental integrity issues, like the very tests we use for AI safety being flawed from the ground up.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start with that AI integrity crisis, because that feels like it
Yes.
underpins everything else. There was a big study recently, right?
Yeah, a joint one, US and UK researchers, they looked at, I think, over 440 different benchmarking tests. The ones used to measure AI performance, safety, all that. And the findings were not great.
Not great is putting it mildly. The core flaw they found is that the benchmarks themselves are just unstable. They're built on, unclear definitions or weak analytical methods.
Because everyone's building on a shaky foundation.
Exactly. The lead author, Andrew Bean, said something that really stuck with me. He said these benchmarks underpin nearly all claims about advances in AI.
Wow.
So if we can't even agree on what safe or accurate means in a testable way, what are all these claims of progress actually based on?
And you can see the results of that in the real world. I mean, Google had to pull its Gamma model. It was making up false allegations about a U.S. senator.
And xAI's Grok started hallucinating conspiracy theories. It just goes to show, without that solid foundation, things go off the rails fast.
So how are companies trying to fix this? I know political neutrality is a big one.
It is. Anthropic has been pretty open about their work with Claude on this. They're trying to make it politically even-handed.
How do they even do that?
Well, they use what's called a system prompt. It's basically an instruction telling Claude to avoid, unsolicited political opinions and to always try and represent multiple viewpoints.
And they use reinforcement learning, right? I read this quote where they reward the model for answering in a way that someone could neither identify me as being a conservative nor liberal.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't that just create a different problem, like a bias towards being bland and avoiding any kind of hard truth just to seem neutral?
That is a fantastic point. It's a huge philosophical debate.
Yeah.
Are they solving for truth, or are they solving for safety and, market acceptance?
Right. Yeah.
Their data, for what it's worth, is impressive on their own terms. They have this open source tool, and it shows Claude Sonnet 4.5 scoring 95% on even-handedness.
And the other models?
Claude Opus was at 94%, which is way higher than Meta's Llama 4 at 66%, or even GPT-5 at 89%. So they've successfully engineered neutrality.
Yeah.
Whether that's the same as integrity is, well, that's the real question.
And here's where it gets really complicated. Even a safe, neutral model can be used for malicious stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Chinese state-backed hackers used Anthropic's own model, Claude, to automate attacks.
And that's the terrifying part. Anthropic reported that something like 80 to 90% of the attack was automated.
So the AI did all the prep work.
All of it. Reconnaissance, planning, even drafting the malicious emails. It said humans were only needed at critical choke points, basically to push the final button. It shows that even a safe tool can just make bad actors incredibly efficient.
Wow. Okay, so let's pivot from that, because AI isn't all bad news. On the positive side, you have tools like Google's Notebook LM.
Right, which just rolled out a new deep research feature.
And this seems like it's designed to do the exact opposite of what we were just talking about. It's all about structure and rigor.
Precisely. It now has full web browsing. So you can give it a topic, and the AI will go sift through hundreds of sources online and generate a structured briefing. And this is the key part with citations.
To avoid the hallucinations.
Exactly. It's built to be a tool, not an oracle. And they give you options too, which is smart.
The fast research versus deep research.
Yeah, a quick summary or the full-blown briefing that runs the background.
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, they've finally added support for the files people actually use.
PDFs, Google Sheets, Docs files.
Mm-hmm. So you can just drag your own stuff into the workspace to summarize it or get ideas. It's becoming a really useful tool.
And speaking of useful tools, Apple just made a pretty big privacy move, didn't they?
A quiet one. Yeah, it's very important. They updated the App Store review guidelines.
What's the change?
Now, apps have to get your explicit permission and clearly tell you if they're sharing your personal data with third parties, and they specifically call out AI technologies. It's a small change that gives users a lot more control.
which is vital, especially when you look at how shaky some of these new tech ventures are, which brings us to Rabbit Inc.
Oh, the R1. What a story. So much hype at launch. And now they're reportedly unable to pay employees and contractors. The reports say people haven't been paid since late summer, and some have been on strike since October.
That's a total collapse. What's the official reason?
The CEO, Jesse Liu, said some regulatory problems in India derailed a launch there, so they had to go into cash conservative mode.
But this feels like a bigger issue, right? Why is AI hardware struggling so much?
It's the big question. I think for a lot of people, these devices just feel needless. Your phone can already do most of this stuff through an app. Why carry a second gadget?
That makes sense, unless the hardware itself is the feature.
Yes.
Which I think is the perfect transition to the
Yeah.
OnePlus 15.
This is the complete opposite of the rabbit story.
Yeah.
This is hardware innovation solving a real fundamental problem. Battery anxiety.
And it's not just a slightly bigger battery, it's a whole new chemistry.
That's the key. It's a 7,300 milliamp silicon carbon battery. That shift to silicon carbon is a huge deal. It gives you way more energy density without making the phone a brick.
So what does that mean in the real world?
Tom's Guide tested it. They got 25 hours and 13 minutes of constant use.
25 hours.
25 hours, which for you means over 2 full days of real-world use. Their final number was something like 2 days and 11 hours. It's a new benchmark. The conversation is finally shifting from how fast does it charge to how long does it last.
And they didn't even sacrifice performance to do it. It's got the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip, 165 Hz refresh rate.
Yeah, it's a beast. And it comes with all the new AI features too. The AI eraser for moving people, AI perfect shot for fixing faces in group photos.
It's the whole package.
It really is. And you're seeing wild hardware ideas elsewhere too. Have you heard the rumors about Samsung's triple folding phone?
The Galaxy Z TriFold, that sounds insane.
Right. Rumors point to a 10-inch inner display and a 6.5-inch outer screen. A true tablet in your pocket.
That would be a productivity monster.
You'd think so, but here's the weird part. The rumors also say it might not have stylus support.
What? For a device that's probably going to cost over $2,500. Why?
The thinking is maybe they're worried about protecting the internal screen mechanism. But yeah, it seems like a really strange omission.
Okay, so let's shift gears from devices in our hands to devices in our cars. There's a big reversal happening with Tesla.
Yes, finally. Apple CarPlay might actually be coming to Teslas. They're reportedly testing it internally.
They've held out for so long. Why now?
Sales have been disappointing. It seems like they're finally willing to compromise their proprietary system to juice sales.
Which is so interesting because at the exact same time, you have GM running in the opposite direction.
I know. General Motors just announced they're ditching Apple CarPlay and Android Auto completely by 2028. They're going all in on their own system.
And even Apple's big new thing, CarPlay Ultra, is having a tough time.
Yeah, the really deeply integrated version they announced, partners like Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Polestar, they're all backing away.
They don't want to give Apple that much control over the car's core software.
Exactly. So the future of car connectivity looks like it's going to be really fragmented.
Well, to end the connectivity news on a high note, there is something really convenient coming to Apple Wallet.
The digital IDs. This is cool. You can now add your digital passport to your iPhone or Apple Watch in the US.
So you can use it at the airport.
You can, but, and this is a big, but only at TSA checkpoints in 11 specific states and territories for now.
Hey.
You definitely still need your physical passport for any international travel. It's a first step.
A good first step. Okay, before we wrap up, a quick trip to space. Amazon's Starlink competitor has a new name.
It does. Project Kuiper is now officially Amazon Leo.
For low Earth orbit.
They're planning to launch over 3,000 satellites to provide internet for remote areas, which is great, but it does bring up the bigger issue.
Space time.
And orbital collisions. When you combine Leo and Starlink, you're talking about tens of thousands of new satellites. It's getting crowded up there, and that raises some serious environmental concerns for future space access.
And from our own orbit to much, much farther away, there was a huge astronomical discovery, right?
A massive one. For the first time, astronomers got clear evidence of a coronal mass ejection, a huge stellar storm, from a distant red dwarf star.
How distant?
About 130 light years away. The star's name is STKM 1101262. And this storm was moving at something like 5.37 million miles per hour.
We see those on our sun, but never on another star like this.
Not with this clarity, no. And the implications are, Well, they're pretty terrifying for the search for life.
Why is that?
Because red dwarfs are really common, and they often have Earth-sized planets in their habitable zones. But an eruption this powerful would just be devastating. It would completely strip the atmosphere off any nearby planet.
Leaving it as.
What the research paper soberly called a bald rock. It really makes you appreciate how stable and protected our own little corner of the galaxy is.
Wow, we have covered so much ground today. From the very foundation of AI safety tests to a phone that lasts for 2 days, and then all the way out to killer solar flares from distant stars.
And, the theme that kind of connects almost all of this is trust. When you look at your sources, the core AI safety benchmarks are flawed, so we can't trust them. The new AI hardware is failing because consumers don't trust that they need it.
That's a great point.
So it leaves you with this big question. How should we evaluate new technology, especially with AI, if the tests themselves are shaky? Should we be prioritizing speed and new features? Or should we maybe slow down and demand that developers prove the integrity and reliability of a thing before they release it into the wild? Something to think about, what you prioritize when you decide to trust a new piece of tech.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.